So our physical theme this morning is going to center around the second chakra, svadhisthana chakra, which is this region here at the sacrum. The sacrum is the big flat bit of bone there at the base of your back, which tucks into your pelvis. And we can imagine that whole pelvic area as being involved. And in the positions that focus on that chakra, we could imagine that the energy really gathers inwards to a center, to a tight center in that region. And from that contraction, it can then flow outwards again, giving a much bigger freedom to the body, either to the legs or to the spine. Often we have a very free feeling of the head. So there's a great polarity between a sense of gathering in and gliding out when we work with this center. That's going to be our physical focus. Mentally, we're going to make sure that we remain really like observers of this exercise. So, would you like to come up to a standing position? So svadhisthana chakra at the second center is connected with very flowing movements. It's connected with a flow of life energy, which brings the movements really to flow almost in a musical kind of way. Start by just drawing your legs together, quite close together, gathering them in and feeling that tightening in at that center. And from that, you can take your arms very freely up, as if out of that center you glide outwards. You glide up into the height. Let's come down and hang forwards. Good tightened legs. And the upper body very free, relaxed. Gliding up into the height again. Legs remaining drawn together and gliding up into the space above. Take the hands down. Let's do that a couple more times. Legs are closed, feet are firm. Upper body hangs very freely. And then gliding up. Legs drawn together. The upper body glides up into the height. Hands down one more time. So we can start to feel almost a musical flow in the two different directions. Always the legs remain firm. And the body remains free to move, gliding up. The breath also flowing very freely. Gliding up into the length. And take the hands down. Let's come into the sun prayer. Keeping the legs drawn together. The hands together. Take the arms up. Gliding up. Take the hands down. We're going to glide forwards today in the sun prayer, gliding out from the second center. Then take the hands by your feet, right foot back. Glide into both legs out of this center. Then come up, gliding up into the height. Take the hands down. Form the plank, firm line, knees down, chest and face down, slide forwards. Keep the pelvis anchored so your sacrum presses downwards in the cobra. Downward dog, you can direct upwards with your hips, again, that same region. Right foot forward. Again, glide into both legs first, so you feel that centering down at the base. And out of that centering, you can glide up into the half moon. Then come into the forward bend, take the feet together, the feet are firm, and then glide up into the height, flowing upwards, right up through to the fingertips, even beyond. Take the hands down. Hands together, the legs stay drawn together. You can even feel your ankle bones touching. And you can glide up high into the length. Take the hands down. Once again, we'll glide forwards, taking the hands out into the distance. Then take the hands next to the feet, left foot back, and again, grow into both legs to bring a good centering. Then glide up in through the whole spine, through to the fingertips. Come into the plank. Knees down, chest and face down. Cobra, keep the pelvis anchored as you glide through the spine. Downward dog, your bottom forming the peak of the triangle. Left foot forward. Again, grow into both legs. Feel a centering at the sacrum. And then glide up, lifting from the solar plexus as well. Gliding right through. And then other foot forward. And the whole body freely swinging up and gliding up into the height. And take the hands down. Let's come to the standing head to knee position, holding it a little bit longer this time. So you all know this position. You can take your feet drawn together in the way that we just have. Picture this centering here at the sacrum. And take the arms freely up into the height above you. And then come out into the forward bend, looking ahead towards the fingers. Let the breath flow. On the one hand, you can be aware of the legs rising up to the sacrum, which are firm. On the other hand, you can be aware of the hands way out in front of you. Keep the breath flowing. Then relax and come up once again. Gathering at the sacrum, gliding through up to the fingertips, and take the hands down. When we do this exercise, we create a polarity between this tightening at the sacrum and the freeing out in front of us where the hands are. And because we have this polarity, it enables the energy to flow from one pole to the other, so that what we can experience is a lengthening. It's like an elastic stretching from the fixed pole here to the free pole of the fingertips, gliding out forwards. Let's do the movement again with a sense of growing longer this time. So good firm legs drawn together, tightening at the sacrum. Take the body up, the arms up, so the body's really free. And now glide out, but keep the fingers in at a sense of free gliding forwards, as if you're anchored from your sacrum and free in your hands. And out of that polarity, you can lengthen ever further and further, breath flowing. Then relax again and come swinging up. We can do the same thing in the standing half moon. We've got fixed legs, we've got free hands, and therefore we have this elastic growing up further. And then down again. So I mentioned at the beginning that as well as having this physical focus, We're going to have a mental focus of observing, of being like an observer of the movements that happen. So we'll do the exercise one more time with that in mind. We are the observer of this flowing movement that lengthens outwards. Take the feet together, and once again, we can grow even further this time. The legs and the sacrum remain the strong fixed pole, and the body glides out into the distance ever further like a flowing stream. And we are observers of this movement. A flowing stream of energy carries us out ever further, and we are the observer of that flowing stream. Relax down again and come swinging up. Legs drawn together. Once again, we can flow upwards again. You can make yourself an observer of that flowing stream upwards. And take the hands by your sides. Let's do another round of the sun prayer. Hands together. Take the arms up. Glide forwards and outwards with the hands. Hands by your feet. Take the right foot back. Grow into both your legs. Glide upwards through the spine, growing longer and longer, a flowing stream. Take the hands down, form the plank, a good firm line. Take the knees down, chest and face down, slide along the ground. Anchor down with the pelvis in the cobra as you glide up with the body. Come into the downward dog, direct the movement upwards from your hips. Right foot forward. Grow into both legs. We can really find the length and the centering at the middle. Growing up through the back, arms, fingertips, longer and longer. Other foot forward. Lengthening up through the legs, letting the upper body release and then swing freely upwards. Firm legs. Gliding up into the height. Hands down. We'll continue with the other side, remaining observers of the experiences. Legs are closed, body glides up. Come down, legs are closed, body glides outwards into the distance. Hands by the feet, left foot back, gliding from one leg to the other. Tightening at the sacrum, gliding up right through the back to the fingertips, forming the plank. Take the knees down, chest and face down, glide forwards, keep the sacrum anchored and glide up into the cobra. Downward dog, backs of the legs long, spine long. Left foot forward, growing between both legs, anchored at the sacrum, gliding up through the spine. Other foot forward, looking towards the ground, rising up, flowing right up through to the fingertips. And the hands by your sides. Let's come to warrior two. Take your left foot out to one side and the right foot facing forwards, and keep the hips facing forwards. This twisting of the legs in different directions already brings this feeling of gathering or contraction in the second center. And now, if you bend your knee, the left knee that's pointed to the side, you can drop down even more and bring even more of a sense of really holding yourself in that region. And out of that region, let's glide upwards now, as if we have an anchor dropping us down from the sacrum, out of which we can glide up into the height with a very free feeling resulting in the head. Come back again. Take the arms down, change the feet around. Hips stay open, knee stays open. Drop down with your pelvis. You feel that centering in at the sacrum, then you glide upwards out of that center. Keep the breath flowing. We remain observers of the experience. Come back again. Let's repeat on each side, same thing again, but with the idea that we are an observer of these polar differences, gathering and flowing. Coming down, observing that tightening in the sacrum, observing the flowing up through the spine. And the breath always remains free. Come back again, arms down, change the legs around, keep both the hip and the knee open, observing that gathering in at the sacrum, the flowing upwards through the spine and arms. And return again. Take the hands down, make the feet parallel, clasp the fingers behind your back, and then come down to hang forwards. And then return again. So we'll come to the triangle to the side. This is quite a tricky position, but it's made much easier if we can really get the feeling of gathering and flowing. This time the flowing is out through one leg. So we'll start with the preparatory movement to get that feeling. One foot is pointed out. If you take your left foot again to point towards the end of your mat, but keep the hips, as we did with the warrior just now, keep the hips open. If you need to bend this knee a little bit, that's okay. And the direction of flowing is now outwards through the right leg. You can keep the upper body completely relaxed, the head relaxed, the flowing out through the right leg. Okay, return again. Change the feet around, right foot out to one side, left hip open, breath flowing. So you can think of a subtle contraction at the sacrum, and you can glide outwards through the left leg. The breath stays free. And then return again. Okay, so I can see some legs on my screen that are looking a little bit low, like this. So see this time, we'll see if you can get your leg twice as high as it was last time. What can be helpful is to put your hand, if you do that just now, put your hand exactly where at the level where you want your leg to come, where you think you can reach with your foot. Put your hand there and really look so you've got a visual sense of that place. Now take the weight onto the left foot again. Make sure the hip is open and think of that place where you just placed your hand. Think of that place and try and really grow outwards with your leg. And return again. Okay, good. And the other side. So maybe just put the hand at that place. Get a visual sense of where that is. Then come into the position. And return again. So I'd like you to just watch the actual position. I know it's not so easy to see the details on the screen, but I'll explain what I'm going to do. I'm going to think from my second center, the sacrum, that the leg's going to glide upwards, right up high. The upper body will automatically come down. It has to if the leg's going up. Otherwise it would be, well, there are positions we can do where both the body and the legs stay up, but the body, we do allow the body to come down, but we don't think in the direction of the body. That's the important thing. We think in the direction of the leg. Otherwise the leg gets forgotten. So just have a look. So the leg goes right up high. So take your left foot to point out to one side. Keep the hips open. Take the step onto the left foot and create your thought already. The leg's going to glide upwards and outwards. Then when you're ready, make sure you keep thinking in the direction of the leg. And then return again. Okay, the other side. Just get a good open position with the hips. Take the weight onto the right foot and just think that movement from the sacrum up towards the leg. Think it before you start and then come into the position. And then return again. Okay, and just hang down. And roll back up again. So we'll do one last exercise, and this is the locust. So to do the locust, you need to get your arms underneath your body like this. So easiest way is to lie on one side first, take the arms under the body, and then roll onto your front. So you can imagine pressing down from your sacrum. You can press down the sacrum, the leg side up and out backwards. So once again, we have that centering and gliding out through the leg. Come back down and change to the other side. Centering down with the sacrum, gliding up with the other. Come back down. This time, place one leg so the toes are on the ground and the knee comes off the ground. And with the other leg now, you can glide up a little bit higher. Stay relaxed. You're just observing. Come back down, place those toes on the ground, back into the heel, the knees off the ground, and with the other leg, actively sacrum pushes the leg right. Just relax. Okay. Now we're going to come up with both legs. You need to picture your sacrum and you need to have the thrust up. You put the arm how firm is on the lever. Just clasp together. When you're ready, right up into the locust. Keep the breath flowing and just remain an observer. And come down again. And you can push back into child's pose. And come up to a sitting position. Let's finish either in the cross-legged position, where you can take one foot and then the other. Good upright spine. Or if you're able to do half lotus, you can take one foot on top of the other thigh with your sole facing upwards. And if that works, you can even try full lotus, where you take the other foot on top as well. Either of any of those positions. But this position, the lotus or the half lotus, or also the cross-legged position, they can all help to bring, once again, a feeling of centering at the sacrum. So let's just focus on that for a moment. We've had the theme that we are observers of this kind of play of movement, gathering in, flowing out, or gliding out. In this final sitting position, we can picture this gathering in of energies inwards to the sacrum, giving us a real sense of a calm, stable, supporting center. And if that is strong, we can feel a natural gliding upwards through the spine so that the upright posture starts to feel quite effortless. The shoulders are relaxed. The neck is long. And the head feels very free, sitting above the rest of the body. The breath is flowing. And we can be aware of that polarity, a gathered center at the sacrum, and a freer head. And then let's finish our session there.